Oh.
I knew what you were doing. I knew it.
Going down Broadway. Whichever way I go. What's up, Charles? How you doing, man? Yes.
Also, Wolf of Wall Street reference, there is an argument that the Houston Texans have been running some kind of fraudulent scheme over the last several years.
Spagazzi, it's a Wazi, it's a Woozy, it's fairness.
Exactly.
It doesn't exist. It's not on the animal chart. It's not real. What is real is that $255 million that Jalen Hurts got. He ain't going nowhere either. What are the ripple effects, Charles Robinson? What are the reverberations as it relates to the next? Because you know those titles of highest paid are oftentimes temporary. The next quarterbacks to get paid, specifically maybe Lamar Jackson.
Right. Well, first off, props to Nicole Lynn at Clutch. I mean, that is a feather in your cap to negotiate the highest paid player in the NFL, and we'll see how long it ultimately lasts. I think the ripple effects. Well, we'll get to Lamar. First, let's start. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. I would expect all three. This is their baseline where they start with when in their future deals. So there are going to be multiple elite level quarterbacks that are now going to look to reset this number, probably modestly. I don't think blow it out of the water, but this is now the new norm for the elites is you are a $50 million quarterback with $180 million in true guarantees. That's really what this deal represents for Jalen Hurts. And for Lamar Jackson, I think, and the Ravens, what you do is you sit down with the Ravens and you go, okay, this now probably has to be the baseline. They could argue, you haven't taken us to a Super Bowl. Lamar could argue, I've been a league MVP. Everybody can kind of try to meet in the middle on that one. But I think if the Ravens were to sit down with Lamar Jackson and say, here's the deal. We're gonna look at the Jalen Hurts deal. We'll match that deal or do $1 better, whatever. We're gonna put you right in the middle of that plateau, highest paid player in the NFL. If they can't get the deal done at that point, I do not think there is. I do not think there's a space where a deal gets done between Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. But this does set the standard, I think, and it applies to Lamar as well. Even with the injuries the last couple of years. You're looking at a player in Jalen Hurts whose resume, while being superb, is not, frankly, as good, statistically as Lamar Jackson's or in the win-loss column. You're talking about a player in Jalen Hurts whose rise has been like nothing I've ever seen before. Year one, he's a backup, a question backup. Like, why was he drafted? Because Carson Wentz was in place. Yeah. Year two, he's the starter.
Questions about him going into last year.
Right. Questions about him. That was my primary question when I went and visited with them in camp. I literally sat with Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman, and I said, tell me what your plan is in the 2023 draft if Jalen Hurts does not ultimately round the corner. Now, they had confidence in him, but he secured the bag after 1 year. Jeffrey Lurie was obviously 100% behind this with Howie Roseman. It's amazing. Only caveat here, I will say, limited resume in basically 2 years you're looking at, and this is an absolute extinction level event contract if it is not.
Right,
that turns out, okay?
Right.
I'm just telling you.
All right, Buster.
So I just want to be just a quick follow-up on this Lamar. If you're Lamar in Baltimore, is that a fair? If you're Baltimore, do you say we'll do that? If from Baltimore's perspective, is that a fair deal? From Lamar's perspective, is that a fair deal? Just from both perspectives, looking at this and just match it. $1 difference, like old school. Bill Russell making $1 more than Wilt Chamberlain. $1 more.
The market's the market.
Good deal.
Okay. You can complain about it all you want, but the market's the market. And if you look at Lamar Jackson's record, okay, as a starter since he came into the league, 5 years of superb play, and then look at their record when he doesn't play. Okay, look at their win-loss record. It's horrendous when he doesn't play. It's great when he does play. Look at the pieces around him, and let's not leave out here the Philadelphia Eagles did for Jalen Hurts what the Ravens have never quite been able to pull off with Lamar Jackson. What did they do? They went out and surrounded him with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. You had Miles Sanders in the backfield. You had an offensive line that was built for an extreme level of success when healthy. You had a tight end in Dallas Goedert, right? I mean, he was surrounded with everything to help make him successful. I don't think that's been the case with Lamar Jackson. You can say whatever you want about the coordinator and whatever. It is what it is. The market is what the market is. And if they don't like it, don't be in the top end quarterback market. That's as simple as I can say it. You don't like where the money is, don't have a quarterback that can command that kind of money. And I think with this Hurts deal, Lamar absolutely has a leg to stand on to say, I think that's a deal I'm capable of getting.
Hurts got a big raise. DeAndre Hopkins says he doesn't want a raise. My question is, does anybody want DeAndre Hopkins, specifically with that contract that he carries?
Not with the contract, I know. I think that's really what's limiting him right now, because I think people look at Hopkins and they say, you know, the window on him it feels like it's the back end, the window with him. They feel like he is not, at least right now. I mean, and I'm not saying he couldn't have a bounce back year, but in some ways I look at him almost like I remember when Amari Cooper, Dallas was trying to move Amari Cooper, and they couldn't get anything for Amari Cooper. They ended up having to deal him for what was a 5th round pick because there just wasn't a market for him, largely because of teams looking at him and saying he's not a $20 million wide receiver. You know, we're not going to want to do a new deal with him when he comes in here. So I think some of the reticence is the current contract. I mean, he now dispels this, but I also do think that up until him dispelling it, some of the caution was, do we have to do a new deal? Like when we bring him in here, does he want a new contract? And we're not really prepared to do that with him at this stage.
Hey, I want to cheat real quick and throw 3 names at you because I know you can handle it. Also uncertain futures. Budda Baker, also in Arizona, requested a trade. Devin White requested a trade, but Jason Light, I think he said he's not interested in doing that. And Dalvin Cook, whose future has been a question all offseason in Minnesota. So Baker, White, Cook, go.
Baker is, I mean, he's a valuable commodity. I mean, he can play all over the place. He can factor into the pass rush. I do think that there's a chance that he ultimately gets traded on draft day. I would not be surprised by that. And I think for a decent asset, like he's someone that a lot of teams will be interested in because of what he can do. He's still a star caliber player, no doubt, in the secondary. I think Devin White. I think I'd be shocked. I think he stays. Tampa loves him. Like they really want to keep him. You know, I think they'll try and figure out a way to work that out. I just don't think they ultimately want to move Devin White. I would be surprised. And Dalvin Cook, I don't know, man. He's a running back. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Do you want Derrick Henry? Okay. Like, do you want you could pick a number of running backs, and I think you're going to have a hard time moving him. I don't think Dalvin Cook is in Christian McCaffrey territory, and I think McCaffrey got moved because you had a team that looked at him with the 49ers and said he can ultimately be a piece that significantly factors into all parts of our offense, gets us over the top, makes us a Super Bowl caliber offense, even with the quarterback situation being what it was. So I don't know, man. I can't tell you that there's a great market out there for running back. There's just not a great.
Me and Michael talk about it all the time. That's the bad. What's going on, man? Oh, I can't call it, bro. I can't call it. Sometimes I just can't call it. It's all good. I can't call it.
Running backs, man.
I can't call it.
Here. I'll call it right now. Don't let your kids play running backs. Okay, if you have the talent to be a high-level college player, an NFL player, play linebacker, play anything. Like, don't be a defensive back. Don't play running back, because I'll tell you. Here's real quick. I'll give you the most striking conversation that I think I've had. I think I talked to you about this. Was teams now? I feel like there's now this approach where an actual dedicated approach by some organizations to just if we take a running back the first round, we're going to have him for 5 years. Then we'll decide whether we want to pay 2 tags. We talked about this with Saquon, right? So if Saquon's having nobody wants to extend him. Nobody wants to extend running backs. Nobody wants to give him top deals. And remember, Dalvin Cook's not a 25-year-old. He's not a 26-year-old.
How many touchdowns can Austin Eckler score? You know, and look at this situation.
Right. That's a great example. Look at Austin Eckler. No market.
Here we go. All right, look. Okay, I just say this. I ain't got a question. This is what I'm gonna say at the end. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. Y'all drive me crazy. Y'all drive me crazy with this, because this whole 5-year thing. You know what? A lot of general managers won't be there in 5 years. Don't think about hey, what's going to happen after 5 years? Will you be here in 3 years? Will you be here in 4 years? Take who's best for your
Don't shoot the messenger.
Hey,
403,000. I'll tell it like it is, and I'll tell it how it could be. Like you want it to be one way, and it's the other way.
I'm talking about these GMs. I'm talking about these GMs with these whole 5-year plans. No, you don't know what's going to happen in 5 years or 4 years. You take the best player, and so in a case like Bijan Robinson in the draft, you draft that guy, and you see what happens later because he's one of the best players in the draft. And by the way, I want to give you credit, Charles, because your memory is unbelievable. Mike gave you a Baker, White, Cook, or something like that. Now, I would have done it in order of profession. I would have gone Cook, Baker, White.
Okay.
You know, just to get you to remember. But you remembered anyway. So, hey, props to you. Hey, when's the Aaron Rodgers deal going to be done? Real quick. When's that going to be done?
Yeah. Man,
I know we talked about it on Friday.
Give
me a prediction. Done this week. Done this week.
Day before the draft, if not the day before the draft, the day before OTAs begin, full squads begin for the Green Bay Packers. So those are the 2 dates I
think Lamar should call either Nicole Lynn or David Mulligetta. And the Packers and Jets, well, they already called Charles. Get Charles in the room and get this deal done. Appreciate you, bro.
Get the deal done.
Speaking of deals, I'll be calling you shortly.
Come on, man.
Here we go.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.